Patrick. Stop doing nothing, kick it into action. Hit that subscribe for your boy Patrick. Hop into a live and see the value packed in, charging more up front while building out the back end. Cut from a different cloth, styled in a different fashion. Niches be tripping, find yours and then cash in. GHL badass, grow and get another SaaS win. Don't know how? Just hit Patrick up and ask him.
Oh my goodness gracious, that continues to be one of my favorite videos, obviously, of all time. Goodness gracious, yes, somebody actually wrote a rap about me. Good morning, good morning, good morning, my friends. Sassy Empress Kara, happy to catch this live. Good morning, Sassy Empress. Really appreciate you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I don't think this isn't your first time. Kara, is it? I don't think it is. So what'd you guys think about that rap? Wasn't that dope? Wasn't that sweet? That was done by a beautiful young lady named Kayla Love, who attended a workshop that I was having last year in October. I'm putting on the same workshop again. And if you're someone who's in the world of high level, reach out to me sometime, because I put on a workshop the day before the high level conference. So anyway, I'm getting to the meat of things. What was I going to say? Oh, hey. If your first time watching, thank you very much. My name is Patrick Allman. I'm your boy. I run here, Stop Doing Nothing Media here in Oklahoma City. And hey, I go live. I like to talk about stuff. And this week, what's on my mind is the gap. I didn't learn the term the gap recently, but I made a trip, okay? I made a trip down to Dallas. And for those of you that are familiar with geography, first of all, I'm going to check my tech real quick, make sure it's all working. For those of you that are familiar with geography, okay, I live in Oklahoma City, which is where I run Stop Doing Nothing Media. And this past week, it was Friday, I believe I went down. Yeah, Friday I went down. I learned about a great event put on by a gentleman named Billy Cox, okay? And I was invited to this event by my brother Thomas Keenan, brother from another mother. We look nothing alike, but man, we're both pretty freaking smart, and we both go to the gym a lot. So Thomas Keenan invited me down there, and again, for those of you who are kind of the Midwest, sometimes you have like the small city that you live in that's kind of quiet, and then you have like that one city that's like not too far away, but you go to the big city. And for us here in Oklahoma City, I mean, we're getting better. We obviously just won an NBA championship, so we're no slouch. I mean, we're not screwing around here. But now that little rectangle right there, you guys are seeing that rectangle on the screen, right? That's supposed to be a chat box, and that is not working. Dag nabbit. Dag nabbit. Oh, that frustrates me. So anyways, Dallas is our big city here close to Oklahoma City. And so this past weekend, Friday morning, I hopped in the car early and headed on down to Dallas. And it's a 3-hour drive. And for those of you that don't do long drives, 3 hours can seem like a long time sometimes. It really can. It was the first couple of times I made it, but I've lived here a few decades now, and that quick run down to Dallas doesn't seem that big anymore. So I did that Thursday. I got on the road. When did I get on the road? Was it 8? I think it was right before 8, because I want to give myself plenty of time. I like to give myself 4 hours and then pad on top of it for stops, for Dallas traffic, for things like that, okay? And so I headed down there, got down there about 11 to the Hyatt Regency. And again, if you've ever been in Dallas, the Hyatt Regency is the hotel right next to that dome, like that globe in downtown Dallas. There's like a long tower up, and there's a globe up there. It's called, goodness gracious, it's called a name that I can't even remember right now. But yeah, so it's the hotel right next to there. Went inside, checked in, did my whole thing, and then I ran to my boy Thomas. So what we're going to talk about is part of what I learned that weekend, but also a term I learned from a friend I made there, which was kind of cool. And not a term I learned, but a term, the gap, which I haven't used in a while, and I realized I should be using a lot more. So the way this worked out is Friday of the event. Friday of the morning part of the event was a VIP day, right? And then for the peons like me, from noon on down, and then all the rest of Saturday were for the GA people. I had a GA ticket. So I got to my hotel about 10:30 or so, checked in, went down about 11:30, saw the event area, because I'll do that, right? I'll go down to places early because I just want to see what the lay of the land is. I had to check in. Uh, I had to stretch. I'd been on the road for 3 hours. And so, Friday afternoon, noon kicked off with a banger. Billy Cox, who I've never seen in purpose, took the stage and ran his event like the boss. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that big red square there because that's not working. That'll be that's a Streamlabs thing. That'll be something I'll be working on later right there. So Billy Cox took the stage for a while. And then throughout the weekend, there were obviously plenty of really good speakers. It was a high quality event. It really was. And even like the stage setup, I'm one of those guys that like I look at the experience, okay? Because whenever I get involved in event management, and I've done my share of events, either on both on stage, behind the scenes, and in the audience, right? Let me know if that's like you. Shout out in the comments, and I do see the comments here. Matter of fact, Sassy Empress Kara, let's get your comment on the screen here. Let's see. There we go. Sassy Empress Kara, happy to catch this live. Girl deserves some love right there. So, if you're someone who is in the world of thought leadership, there are multiple positions you can have in this world, and I've had all three. I do my share of keynote speaking, so spend plenty of time on the news, like the real actual news, not this as seen on internet crap right there. Like real time on the news, real time on small stages, real time in breakout rooms, real time in conferences. Okay, I've been on stage. I've been in the share of audiences because I need to learn as much as I teach. And then I've actually been behind the scenes setting up stuff. So when it comes to events, I try to take it all in to see how the experience is going to be, because it's very easy to put somebody on a stage and have them talk for 5 minutes, 5 hours, or whatever. But a really good event is the whole experience. And I was very impressed by the whole experience. I liked the work the AV team did. I liked the stage setup. It was a good stage that had, that runway thing that comes out kind of in the audience a little bit. I always love that kind of setup. And it was good graphics. So technical wise, that technical part of my brain was going, ooh, yeah, that's good stuff right there. So I thought that was good. Let me get your comment rearranged here properly. Kara, got to make you look good. And so I go into, but I also like what kind of event, what's going to happen, right? So I go into the event Friday. Saw several good speakers, started taking notes. Don't tell the event coordinator, shh, but I did something really cool. I've noticed that one of the ways that AI is helping me is it allows me to be more involved and immersed into experiences. Meaning, what I was doing, because we have really good AI note takers these days. What I was doing, and again, shh, don't tell anybody, please keep this our secret. What I was doing is I was recording the sessions in GarageBand on this laptop that I'm streaming from for you. And then I was running them through Notebook LM. Now, I know a lot of times at events, they tell you don't record, please don't record. Number one, I was recording for myself, not to distribute or resell. Oh, goodness gracious, we've got so much Kara on the screen now. We've got two Karas on the screen. We're going to fix that. So I was recording for myself, number one. I was recording for my education, not to distribute, things like that. I also didn't want to lose the sessions, and I'm not sure that we're going to be recording, so it's another reason I recorded. But also the note taking and the summary information I get afterwards is amazing these days. And so that's why I did it. And so what I was doing almost real time, and what I will probably doing almost real time going into future events, is I'll be recording the event and then running it right through Notebook LM to get some really good detail out of it. Now, but what this allows me to do personally, okay, is allows me to be more involved in what the speaker says, okay? Because if somebody says, Les Brown was there, for example, Billy Cox was there, for example, all kinds of good people were there. If somebody is talking about something and I need to pivot and write down, I'm not listening for 30 to 60 seconds while I'm trying to write down the last point. And that happens on Zoom calls too. So there are times when we're taking notes, and we need to be taking notes, that we cannot be fully immersed. And one of the things I've learned to do with AI, and I'm kind of curious if anybody else has done this, also drop a comment if you have, is for my Zoom calls now, I have my AI note taker on there. And for this event, I knew I was going to record the sessions and run them through AI. for summarizing. So what I started doing is each speaker was coming on stage, is that I would start a separate GarageBand recording, get the MP3 out, and then it was kind of interesting. As a speaker was done, I would process their MP3. I would get that up in Notebook LM, which produces 4 different summary documents for me, and a mind map. And the mind map might be the coolest thing there. So basically, I get my while speaker number 2 is on and GarageBand is recording that, I'm over in Notebook LM scanning and looking at my notes for speaker 1. And so over in my Notebook LM right now, I have basically like a separate notebook for each speaker, and each speaker has its own set of multiple files there. I'm going to take you off the screen there, Kara. No hate. And so that's what I'm doing these days, and it's something I would encourage you to do. Obviously, if someone shuts you down from recording, definitely do not record. But I've got an MP3 of each speaker, and I've got really good notes, and that allows me these days to stay fully immersed in what someone is saying. So when Billy Cox is on stage or Mrs. Billy Cox was on stage, I can't remember her name, I apologize. I can be fully immersed in what they are saying and not have to worry about, oh, that was a good point. Sit down and take my notes. Oh, I have to outline that. Oh, I got to remember that and circle that. No, I almost take no notes now during Zoom meetings and almost no notes when I'm at conferences. It's into GarageBand and then it's into Notebook LM. And for those of you that have used Notebook LM, you would have thought that it's good to have like one notebook for the entire event and put all the speeches in there. No, that's not what I did. I learned it was better to have one notebook per speaker. So, anyways, that's what I did Friday. Okay, and then Friday evening was uneventful. Went up to the hotel restaurant, had some decent food, and crashed. And got to my room, got to bed at a decent sleep. And I really wanted to get a decent night's sleep because I would be sitting for 8 hours watching an event. And then I had a 3-hour drive home. So, Saturday morning is the whole spiel. And then also I noticed, and also had a coach time, which if you've been to these events, you kind of know how these events work, okay? They are there for education. They are there for plenty of great content, but there's also usually an upsell or a coaching offer that's going to be involved. And I've been involved in so many of these events. And as for some of you that have been involved in these events also, that you can like look around and you can see, oh, I see what's going on. And I knew it from the moment I checked in Friday because I had a badge and the badge had a time on the back, and the badge said, I believe it said 2:30 Myrna, as a matter of fact. You know what? There's my badge right there. Huh. Didn't even realize the badge was sitting right next to me. So I checked into the event. Here's Billy's awesome next level conference. I was an attendee. And then on the back, I had Myrna. Hopefully, Myrna will get to see this. So I knew that basically everyone that checked in, you were going to be sitting down with the closer. Okay. And it's also obvious because the closers are usually out in the lobby area and they sit at the same table all event and they just kind of cycle through people. Okay. Because they're wanting to learn more about things. And if there's a good fit there, then there's usually a coaching offer involved. And 100%, that's what was going on. Okay, so I knew that at some point in time I was going to be talking to this girl, Myrna, right here. And to tell you the truth, interestingly enough, once I saw this and I saw how the event was, I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. I may not choose to participate in that particular coaching thing. But hey, I get it. And I much respect Billy for the hustle. And I know he's doing good work in the world. So I perfectly understand how this works. And I've put on events like this also where that same setup is going on. So, what happened? Oh, okay. So Saturday there was a breakout where I went to see another fellow tech speaker, a guy just like me. He was a nerdy guy. He is a high-level certified admin shop. He runs advertising for other people just like we do, and he's a pilot. So he was like in my Venn diagram. I can't do a one-person Venn diagram, but he was like in my Venn diagram of being a sweet spot, a nerdy guy who speaks on stage, who's a go high level admin that's also a pilot. I mean, goodness gracious. The only other thing he could have done better to be in my Venn diagram was be a guy who likes to lift really heavy things and put them down. Okay. So it was, I believe his name was Jacob. I believe. Let me take a look at here. Forgive me, Jacob. I believe that was it. I'm just not really on top of my names right now. So let's take a look here. Um, Tyler Jacob Salem. If you don't know Jacob Salem, make sure you go follow him. He's a good looking guy. He's really sharp, really well dressed, and he knows his shiz when it comes to marketing. And I always go to learn because I can learn from every digital marketer out there. So I sat in a session, ended up being his speaker timer. If you ever need a really good speaker timer, there's a piece of software called stagetimer.io that I use to help keep him on track because he had a lot to compress into a small amount of time. And if you're someone who's been in the digital marketing space and you're given like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, you learn quickly that that's barely enough time to get your name out and the name of your firm out. Okay. You can't teach a lot. So shout out to you, Jacob, for getting as much done as you could in that time period. Jacob spoke for a while, and then Jacob kind of flowed over into my coaching time, which he had a limited amount of time. And my coaching time with Myrna, as you can see right here, my coaching time with Myrna was 2:30. So as I'm going back down to the main conference area, I know where Myrna is. There's a male closer and there's a female closer, and only one of them is going to be Myrna. So I get down there and I have to apologize. Myrna had texted me and I hadn't seen it, and Myrna was looking for me for our 2:30 appointment. So I ran down there real quick to her, and what did I had to do something else real quick. I think I may have had to take a bio break or start my recording, for the next session because she was doing her coaching sessions while the main stage was filling up again. So I went down, said hi, Myrna. I'll be right back. I responded to a text message, and I actually saw her in person. I said, I'll be right back. I've got to basically recover from the breakout session I was just in with whatever. So I go drop my stuff off. I think at my chair in the main room. Grab a notepad, excuse me, and a pen. I believe was what I grabbed, and I went back to sit down with Myrna. Because I knew I was going to be, pitched a coaching offer, but I have no problem with that. I just wanted to see how this works and what they did have to offer. So I sit down with Myrna, a beautiful, beautiful young woman, and the first thing that comes out of her mouth is she's like, "I know you. I watch your stuff." And I don't remember all the words that were said. I wish I could have recorded it because it was a really great interaction. So before we basically really formally got introduced to each other, Myrna Myrna had been on my YouTube channel, which some of you are probably watching this live on right now. Myrna had been to my YouTube channel and used it to learn marketing stuff and high level stuff. For those of you that don't know, high level CRM is the CRM that we are certified on, that we recommend these days. It's also the CRM that Myrna uses, and it's a CRM that Billy Cox uses, who runs the event. So we spent probably the first 5 or 10 minutes just kind of talking about what she'd learned from me, how helpful I had been to her. Some of the other stuff on the YouTube channel. It was a great interaction. So basically, it's not like I gave her coaching, but there was an instant bonding and instant trust and instant friendship there after talking with Myrna for a while. So that did not hurt my ego one bit. Let me tell you, I thought that was very cool. And it was very cool to also, not only know that people watch my stuff, but it's actually useful. And she had said she had watched some of the videos. I think specifically over on my YouTube channel, I have a playlist for marketing and high level CRM kind of content, and that's what she went to learn to watch certain things. Hey, Cody Caballero, man, where are you tuning in from? Let me know the city, state, country, whatever. I appreciate you. Cody is in his house. Thank you, Cody, for tuning in for sure, man. Let me know how you found me also. So after the first 5 or 10 minutes, when Myrna and I are buddying up, we then get into the purpose of the call there, and she wanted to know what was going on with my business, and because she might have some possible solutions, which I fully expected her to have. And so I just went into some of the challenges I'm having when it comes to scaling, the fact that I'm a techie, and sometimes it's hard for me to get out of my techie headspace. It's hard for me to remember to delegate. Oftentimes, like a tech task comes my way, and my first inclination is to hop into whatever tech tool that is. Why is my nose itching? Is to hop into whatever kind of tech tool I'm in and get the work done, if you will. Okay. Whoo, look at that. Time is 9:30. And I've got to get out of that habit. Okay. It's a very bad habit. It's one that's limited me the entire time I've been an entrepreneur, that I haven't scaled as fast as I could. So that's a fault on my part. And so between Myrna, paying really close attention, which was great of her, and listening, and also her learning about what the sweet spot is and what my audience is. And we talked about the actual event that we were at. And we basically kind of discovered that the event, the Billy Cox event, where I get to network, interact, and talk with people. I wasn't on stage at this event. I'm on stage at other events, but not this one. I had basically, just by me being there and at a very high level talking marketing strategy, I probably generated, I don't know, 4 to 5 leads when I was down there. And I don't mean like soft leads, like, hey, let's just stay connected, like leads of people that say, hey, I need what you have to offer. It was either in the hallway, before the Jacob session, at the Jacob session, or, after the Jacob session, that entire Saturday. And what I talked about to Myrna, again, just great set of ears on her as she was listening to me, is I talk about the fact that I can bridge the C-suite with the techies, okay? And I've always been able to do that since oh goodness gracious, since I don't know how long. I've always been able to bridge the really techie people with the people that are severely non-techie. And Myrna came up with this great phrase, which is obviously the title of this YouTube video, the gap. She was like, Patrick, you solve the gap. You are the gap filler. Okay, Patrick? And she said, there is plenty of people here at the event, which is why my networking was going so well. She was saying there are plenty of people at this event who need the gap filler. She said, these people at this event, because I have 200% trust her because she's talked to a lot of them through her coaching session. She said, these people are roofers. These people are realtors. These people paint. These people, do yard work and landscaping. She said, these are people who don't even know they need a CRM. And when they do get a CRM, like high level, they have no idea what to do with it. And she said, Patrick, you are the gap filler. And out of everything I learned that weekend, probably walking away with those two words, the gap. I am here to fill the gap. I have never seen it put that way before. I know what I did. You may know what I do to a point, but I had never seen it called filling in the gap. And out of everything, and if you're watching, Myrna, I have to 100% attribute this to you. That's what I walked away with this weekend. It was, we are a gap filler here at Stop Doing Nothing Media. If you are someone who is at a very high level in your business and you want to stay at that high level, don't confuse that. That's high level, 2 words. Don't confuse that with a CRM, high level, which is 1 word. But if you're somebody who wants to stay at the high level and only deal with there, and you only deal with your numbers and your KPIs and only dashboards, as far as I'm concerned, someone in the C-suite should only be looking at numbers and colors every day, okay? You pull up a dashboard, things are green, yellow, or red. Things are trending up, things are trending down. Okay, it's pretty easy stuff. As someone in the C-suite, you should be able to look at a single dashboard, either in your high-level CRM or out of a tool like Segmetrics or Databox or Commently. You should be able to look at a single dashboard and instantly say, oh, this is the state of my business today, for whatever date range that dashboard covers. If it's a daily dashboard, you can see the state of your business after 24 hours. If it's a weekly dashboard that covers, last 7 days of data, you should be able to see, how your business is doing over the past 7 days. And same thing with a month. And also, your dashboard needs to reflect a trend versus the previous amount of time. So if you're looking at daily data, it should show you how well your day was relative to the previous day, okay? Same with the week. How is this week compared to previous week? And this is why I like sending out weekly reports on Friday mornings, because then the reporting period for our clients becomes becomes Friday through Thursday. I don't count the day that I send out the reports to clients because that day's not done. I don't count the data for that day until that day's data is done. Did I just come up with my own tongue twister? I may have. So anyways, that's how I like to report on things. So when I build dashboards or when we set up like weekly email reports to people, it's here's the time period this is for, and this is how you performed previous to the other time period. And so goodness gracious, where was I going? Oh, so I'm very thankful to the fact that I went down to this trip to see the Billy Cox event. I did get to see Les Brown, if you are at all into personal or business improvement, you know who Les Brown is. I don't have to tell you who Les Brown is. His name is not new in this world. As a matter of fact, he showed how many organic searches happen for the word Les Brown. He had a graphic, an infographic that showed this. I didn't realize that I think the number of impressions of people searching for his stuff was like 2.2 billion. Okay. And then it showed all of the other people in the motivational space, the Eric Thomases of the world, the Tony Robbins of the world. And they were like less than half of his daily searches. Okay. So Les Brown has basically data to show that he is 100% on top of the motivation game. Also, Les Brown, I think I heard that I think on stage he was 80. And my goodness gracious, he looked like he was 30. He really does. I don't know if he dyes his hair or not, but his hair was as black as it's ever been, in good shape. He was well dressed. It's not like he hobbled around. He had no problem walking up and, pacing the stage and talking to people. He really, to me, looked like he was 30 and he acted like he was 30. I did not expect that out of an 80-year-old man. I went walking this morning, and my goal with my daily walks and my weightlifting is so I am in good shape so I can be doing that when I'm 80, okay? Um, what is on my mind? Goodness gracious. Oh, goodness gracious. Hey, I didn't even see what's going on in the comments. Brother Kennedy, what is on my mind? I'm misconnecting with you. Brother Kennedy, good to hear from you, man. I was just watching your stream yesterday. That's why you were on my mind. We must come and go in cycles, Robert, because I was watching your stream yesterday for a few minutes. I really was, and I can't remember the topic at the time, but I did pop into your stream yesterday. You were streaming. I can't remember if you were streaming on Instagram or wherever it was, but anyway, I popped into your stream yesterday. Vinny, never heard of Les Brown, but then again, I don't follow motivational people. Okay, it's all cool, Vinny, but just imagine like a black Tony Robbins, if you will. Okay, Les Brown is on his game at 80, man, and so I was really hoping that. I mean, he'd had some good stuff. I've got the summary notes because, like I said earlier in the stream, I recorded what Les said and then I ran it through Google's Notebook LM. So I've got good summary notes of that stuff, and I got some pictures of Les. I did not get pictures with Les. And this is something else that was kind of an interesting revelation. We can always learn from everybody else. Les doesn't do that thing anymore where he speaks on stage and then he goes out in the hallway and does like a book signing or where you can take like a picture with him in front of the conference backdrop. He doesn't do that jam anymore. For him as being as on in age as he is, his mind is very sharp. He's very much aware of what's going on in the world of AI. And he doesn't take selfies with people anymore. And he actually showed examples of this because people have abused his image so much and made money off of his image and basically manipulated his voice so much that he doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't freely give away selfies. There's some special cases for sure. Like I think the VIP people got selfies, but he doesn't do that thing anymore where he just freely takes pictures with people. And he showed video of people who have taken his face and his voice and used it for endorsements. He gave one example of where his face and his voice was used to endorse a conference where there were, I can't remember how many hundreds of people he said there were there, but it was like X number of hundred people in this event at $15,000 per seat. So that's how much money the person made that was promoting the event, and they had used Les Brown's image, Les Brown's voice illegally. And it may have been a different example, but when Les was talking, he also showed an example of someone who had taken Les Brown's voice and his image and turned it into Spanish and used it to promote a event in Espanol. So Les Brown has had to deal with a problem that, it's one thing if somebody, plagiarizes your content. That happens. It's one thing if somebody else just uses a static image of you to endorse something, okay? That happens to every single person out there, okay? If you've been scrolling on social media today, you've probably seen a motivational quote or image or, a small caption or a small sliver of a presentation of somebody motivating you, okay? It could be Eric Thomas, could be Les Brown, could be me, could be anybody, okay? But Les Brown was saying this happened to him so much that he's actually had to proactively just stop making himself freely available for selfies and book signings. If you want to work with him on a project, and one of the things he has right now is like a co-authoring thing, and I've seen some other big names do this, where you can basically co-author a book with Les Brown, or he's writing a book and he's going to have 10 to 15 chapters, and he basically sells the chapters. Obviously, for that, he's going to take selfies with you. There are certain situations at events. Like I said, this event had a VIP section, so there were people in the VIP section, I believe, that got selfies with him. But for the most part, he's kind of squashed that. And that was interesting. That was I was always been of the attitude that, you know what, whenever I'm on stage, whenever I'm in public, I want people to take as many pictures of me and as much video of me as possible, and to quote me and to record me. I am an attention whore when it comes to that stuff, okay? And I'm sure there's a much better word than that, but that's the one that comes to mind. I am record me and reuse my image. What Bill Weathers say, use me till you use me up. I'm perfectly okay with that. But my attitude might change, and I'm kind of curious about your thoughts on this. My attitude might change if I was a Les Brown, or I had 2.2 billion searches of my name. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. Someday, number one, am I ever going to be in a position like a Les Brown where that actually happens? I hope to have that problem someday. But what am I going to do when that happens? Am I going to kind of squirrel that stuff? Am I going to squash that down? Oh, goodness gracious, Vinny, you are on fire, man. What did Vinny have to say here, Vinny? He is following my, oh, goodness gracious, get back here. He is following my lead. That's why there is no selfie with me and you, Patrick. Yeah, but Vinny, aren't you the one that took like a picture of me? Was that you, Vinny, or someone else took a picture of me in the men's bathroom with one of the affiliate summit conferences? It was somebody. It was some photographer that was just like taking pictures with guys all bellied up to the urinals. I don't know who it was, but we do have to get there's got to be a video or an image out there someplace, Vinny, with you and I in it together, brother. There's got to be that. There's got to be that. Shout out to my brother Robert Kennedy, who also does streaming. And if you guys have not tuned into Robert Kennedy III's stream, please make sure you do. Guy is classy AF. He's a good-looking brother, and his setup also. I get a lot of ideas from my video setup and my audio setup from Robert Kennedy. I smooch and I plagiarize not his content, but his look and feel as much as possible. So please make sure you are following Robert Kennedy also. But the summary of this entire live stream as we wrap up here is, when you go to an event like I went to, and you've been to enough inspirational, motivational, uplifting events, what you can absorb and what you learn and you absorb less every single time, okay? And the reason you learn and absorb less is because a lot of it is the same stuff you've heard before. So for every conference like the one I went to, there's someone who's never been to a business conference or an uplifting or a motivational conference, okay? And they're seeing everything for the very first time. And they need that lift. They need to be reminded about the basics of life and being a good person and being uplifting and things like that, okay? Me, after my 10th, 20th, 30th event, I have to admit, and this is not being mean, evil or cynical, a lot of this stuff I've heard and seen before, okay? And then I have to look for nuggets. Every time I go for an event, I have to look harder and harder for the nuggets, okay? To me, the nuggets came, I'm going to take your thing off the screen here, Vinny. To me, the nuggets came from Jacob and the tech event. He showed me some tech things I hadn't learned before, but mainly Myrna. And I want to make sure that I tag you, Myrna, in this so you can watch it after. Sitting down with Myrna, and this is just the very beginning, by the way, of a long friendship. Sitting down with Myrna and her using the phrase, the gap in quotes. Her showing me that that's where I live, as I live in that gap. And that's the sweet spot for the gap. And that's where I can make a lot more money. I'm always looking for ways to upscale and charge more and bring more value. But Myrna's like, Patrick, you can make a lot of money in the gap. So that is something I want you to think about also. What in your world are you being the gap? What two worlds are you good at filling in when it comes to the gap? Okay, for me, it's the C-suite up here. And I've learned I was good at that when I cut my teeth at Hertz, the Hertz rental car company. I was kind of in a tech lead role there, and I would basically sit over at Hertz to the vice president named Gary Orwell. For those of you who've been in my world for a long time, was it Monday morning? I don't think it was every day. Was it every Monday morning? I can't remember if it was daily or weekly now. It's been so many decades ago. I would sit in a room with Gary, who was the CTO, and other people in the C-suite, and I would basically take all the technical issues and technical things coming up and basically give them a briefing, but I would do it in a very non-technical way. I would do it in a way that showed them the business impact. If a hard drive was down, here's the business impact. They don't care if the hard drive was a 1 terabyte hard drive and one of the heads went south and we're hot swapping it because it's a RAID 5 or RAID 6 configuration, okay? I can talk tech. Brother man can talk tech. Don't think I don't know how to talk tech. I can get down when it comes to tech. I really can. But they want to hear that, oh, payroll will be behind or accounts payable will be delayed by a day because of this technical issue, or sometimes there's a big technical issue and there's no impact whatsoever. They need to know that because they may have heard from somebody else that, oh, here's a major tech issue, but it's no impact to the rental car counters. It's no impact to the programmers. It's just a tech issue that we are working on. So one of the things, I've always called it bridging, but Myrna used the term the gap. So one of the things I need to do, and one of the things I would suspect you need to do also, is spend more time figuring out how you can fill that gap and where you can bring in the value to that gap. So that's my new phrase walking out of that Billy Cox event after seeing Les Brown and all those people is, how can I live in that world of the gap more? And someplace in my notes, I kid you not, I wrote down the gap. I found paper and I circled it and I highlighted it and put arrows at it. And that's kind of like my word of the week. And it's going to be the word on the tip of my tongue for a while, is fixing that gap, seeing how much value I can stuff in that gap to make the person at the top of that gap, to make their life easier and to make their business grow more. Now, I don't already do these things. It's just I've got a new word to use to describe what I do there. So if you haven't had a chance, make sure you go back and watch the beginning of the video. As always, I need some social currency from you. Hop over to YouTube, like, subscribe, follow, do all those things, especially if you use the high-level CRM. I do put out some technical content, and I have a playlist over on my YouTube channel that is strictly high-level CRM training. It's like basic training, like 101 stuff. That playlist, out of all my playlists, seems to get the most traction. So make sure that you subscribe, like, turn on notifications, all that for my YouTube channel. You can follow on Facebook, obviously, also, because I'm streaming to both right now. But YouTube is the game I'm really trying to grow. So I've got some things I'm going to talk about next week when it comes to content production. One of the things I really learned out of Jacob was the fact that I really need to up my content game. How often I'm posting on social media and the kind of content I produce. That'll probably be my topic for next Wednesday. And that's my schedule right now, by the way. Is I've kind of floated with different schedules to see what works for you guys. I've heard from some people that once a week, especially in the middle of the week, is a good time for me to go live and talk about technical stuff and strategic stuff. So if you have any other ideas in that area, I would love to hear them. But yeah, my goal is Wednesday, 9 a.m. weekly, right now, right here, right for you, wherever you are sitting or watching. Okay? If you did watch today, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Let's close out with the rap again. Okay, let's go find that rap and play that one more time. We'll play the rap and then we will call it a day. Please make sure you stay tuned and watch this.
For Patrick. Stop doing nothing, kick it into action. Hit that subscribe for your boy Patrick. Hop into a live and see the value packed in, charging more up front while building out the back end. Cut from a different cloth, styled in a different fashion. Niches be tripping, find yours and then cash in. GHL badass, grow and get another SaaS win. Don't know how? Just hit Patrick up and ask him.
And that's the day, my friends. Go out there and have a blessed Wednesday, July 30th, and I'll see you on the next live stream. Take care.